I've often, talked about the difference between a leader and a politician. Another date of election is here. Never mistake a politician for a leader. They are two different ends, especially in the Nigeria context. Some time ago, I defined politics as the madness of many and the game of few. It's most unfortunate the way, politics is being done here in Africa. The African politician has three major features or characteristics that I want to talk about, which is different from that of the leader. Now, the African politician thinks about the days of election rather than the people, while the leader thinks about the people and making generational impacts. And secondly, the African politician thinks about programs. Programs, they tell you about, tying roads, they tell you about that's construction of roads, they tell you about building bridges. These are primary responsibilities of government. Not something that should be in a promissory note. They are basic things that government owe the citizenry. But the irony of it is that the citizenry has been cocooned into a psychology, a mindset that sees these basic responsibilities of government as achievement for politicians. It is terrible. Then another thing that distinguishes the leader from the politician is promises. The politician thrives on promises, promissory notes. They issue promissory notes that they have no capacity to fulfill. While the leader, is visionary. Leader talks about purpose, while politician talks about promises. And leader believes in actualizing promises, but the politician just issues the promissory note. Actualizing it is really not much of his or her business. So the gospel of this message is that another days of election is here. Now these politicians, they abandon the people in the last 3 years. They've not been forthcoming. But now that days of election have been announced, you are seeing them everywhere up and doing, just displaying some sort of care for the people. And the people are being deceived again. We need leaders to occupy positions of leadership, not politicians. And that is why Africa is backward. Now, the leader is selfless. The leader puts himself in the shoes of the people. How many politicians, come to think of it, are really interested in your children's generation or in the generation to come? They tend to, or they seem to live in the present generation. They are not even thinking about the future. Because we are not actually interrogating these politicians. We are not interrogating them. Now, I want to ask you something. Now, you are running after that politician, vote for this, support that. Do you really know much about that person? Have you really asked the person basic questions? As a word of advice, I want to give you this tip, that when politicians come to meet you for your support, just ask them a simple question. Ask them, what is your purpose for being in politics? Or what's your purpose for contesting for this position? You see that a whole large number of them will not be able to answer that question effectively. They'll veer off, what is expected. Ask them what's their passion. They won't be able to answer the question. Ask them what's their plan for the future of your children. They won't be able to answer that. Some of them will tell you, I want to tie road, I want to build bridges, but these are not the issues, because these are basic rights of the citizenry. So building roads, constructing bridges, building schools are not things that politicians should be applauded for, or leaders should be applauded for, because they are basic rights of the citizenry. Leaders should talk of things that are more constructive engagements, things that have to do with future, security of the children, security of lives and properties. Today in Nigeria, you cannot talk of security anywhere. The security architecture is zero. But government spends huge amount of money on security. But we don't know what this money is going into or where this money is going into. Because every day life doesn't even make sense anymore. You see cops littering, everywhere in our environment. You see dangers everywhere. You see ritualist activities everywhere. Every day breaking news has become a daily decimal. There are so many persons are even scared to tune to media or tune to their television set because of fear of one breaking news or the other. So we can't continue to live like this. If we want to make a change, if we want to change the narrative, we must interrogate those who are coming out as our leaders, those who we are projecting to take positions, sensitive, positions in government. We must ask them questions. We must ensure that we project our very best, in order to secure the future of our children. This is very important, especially now that another election dates have been announced and you are seeing another madness everywhere. So please let us be guided. Let us ask them questions. Is this man a leader or is this man a politician? The best bet we have to salvage our nation, to take us to our promised lands, are leaders, not politicians. But it's unfortunate that the leaders are not given the opportunities. They are not given the chance to express themselves because one, they do not have the kind of money back or the kind of money that the politicians have stolen over time. The leaders do not have those kind of money. Now imagine if expression of interest fund for presidency is 100 million. Any man who truly has, receipt for his wealth, that, actually hustled genuinely for his wealth, will not want to throw such kind of money, for nothing. Or such kind will not want to spend that kind of money. Think about it. Now, many of them who bought the expression of interest form, they're falling back to their shares just because of the order from the presidency that, any serving minister or anybody holding a government position, should resign before pursuing the political aspiration. Now, all of them, they are falling back to their shares, meaning they are not even willing to even relinquish the position they are occupying currently. They want to pursue two things at a time. So it goes to explain to you the level of selfishness of the Nigerian politician. So all we have everywhere, they are all politicians. Majority of them are politicians. We don't have leaders, and this is the problem. Until we have leaders who are interested in generational changes, leaders who are interested in the people genuinely, then the lamentations will continue. Thank you very much for staying tuned to me. Subscribe to my channel and encourage your friends to do so. Still your friend, Marcus Ikure. Bye for now.